Hello, good people. Welcome back to the Remote Chic. In this video, we'll be talking about the number one thing you should absolutely consider if you want to work remotely as an African. Last week, I had a session with the Bora Watu community. I'm normally invited to speak to different communities about remote work, and I went in there saying this is just like any other community that I've been invited to speak at, and we're going to talk about remote work and then have the general Q&A session. But during the general Q&A session, someone asked me a very personal question and I was a bit guarded for a moment. And I said, you know what, let me speak about this because this is life. They said, hey, Joy, how do you juggle your life responsibilities with working remotely? And the reason they asked me that question is I've shared here before, I work EST time zone, but I live in Uganda, which has East African time zone. And if you just do the math right now, I think it's like a 7 or 8 hour difference, depending on if the US is having daylight saving in that particular month. So I said, wow, this is very personal. I don't want to talk about this. This is my life. But then I thought it's very important that we speak about it because life is actually happening outside of work. Me and you have responsibilities. You're a sister, you're an auntie, you're a mother, you're a father, you're a caretaker. Like life is happening whether we want it to happen. And now, how are you going to juggle your work and also life? How do you get to be present at your job but also present at home? Now, I don't know much about so many responsibilities because I don't have children at the moment. God willing, that will happen. But I am only catering for myself and my family. I'm an auntie, I'm a sister. That's what I am currently juggling with. Those are my responsibilities, my friends, my loved ones. That is it. I'm not married, I don't have kids. And so the way I live my life is very, very different. I live alone, I'm only catering for myself. But you may be watching me right now and you have a life outside that you have built for a number of years in this particular African country that you're in. You are a mom, you're a father, you have a routine, you take your kids to school in the morning, in the evening, maybe you pick them up, and then you want to venture into remote work. And let's say you want to work with companies in the United States. Now, that's going to cause an overlap or disorganize your schedule a bit. So you have to think, if I've been having these responsibilities like picking up the kids at 5 p.m., who am I going to outsource this work to? If I wake up very early in the morning to make commute, but then now I'm working a remote job and I went to bed late, so waking up in the morning is going to be constraining to me. Am I going to outsource this? How will I do this? Because you don't want to be a prisoner to your job where it's only locking you in and you don't get to live your life outside. Like it's not good at all. Like, please, that's not work-life balance. And work-life balance is your responsibility. You have to worry about yourself because your employers will just expect you to be available at this particular time. But if you're not available, then you lose out on your job, your source of income, and then it's going to affect your family life. So you have to think about that. Think about your life. Think about, okay, if I get this opportunity for work, does it fit into my current schedule? And I'm speaking to people who have responsibilities at the moment. Lots of moms email me. They say, hey, Joy, ladies, they say, Joy, I'm a mother, I'm a stay-home wife. How do I manage to work remotely? I would say, look at your current responsibilities at the moment and then say, how do I create a schedule around these current responsibilities of mine? Because for me, in my opinion, don't want to focus so much on your work and fail to live life outside of it. At the end of the day, life is happening outside of work. Your kids are growing, your parents are aging, like life is happening. So you have to prioritize both. I just think it's good to consider everything because I believe in having like an all-round life, not just only focusing only on one thing, work, work, work. And I'm a workaholic. But the fact that I'm actually thinking about this, like it says so much because life has to be lived outside. So if you are an African and you, for let's say the last 10, 15 years, you built your life with those responsibilities, you're married, you have kids, consider them before you get an opportunity for work. Consider them if you want to work remotely. Targets say, okay, I'm going to work in maybe UK time zone. Those are the companies I'm gonna look at if I'm looking for an opportunity for work. And I'm gonna stay away from the US companies for a while. Or if I wanna go into the US ones, how do I create structure around my responsibilities or everything that I have going on so that I'm catering to my job but also catering to my family? That's what I would advise if you want to venture into remote work and currently have your life already flowing. That's what I would really advise. Now, for my people, my single people, you're just living, you're moving, you're catering for yourself, my dears, this is the time to lock in. Lock in and lock in very well because you're only catering for yourself. You wake up in the morning, maybe you live by yourself, you're just like me, and you get to do whatever you want. Then clock in when it's time for work. This is your time to shine. You can choose whatever time zone you want to work in, and then say maybe in the other one you want to skill up or go out with your friends. But whatever you do, maximize on this time where you don't have responsibilities. Maximize, like always, always, always. I look at my friends and my family who have responsibilities outside of their work, and I just think to myself, wow, how will I manage this when that time comes? So if you don't have those responsibilities at the current moment, please maximize on your time, and that's what I would say. But it's very important to think about life outside of work. And don't compare yourself. If you're listening to me and you're like, Joy, I'm a mom, I'm a dad, but I want to do all of these things, please don't be under pressure. Don't be under pressure. If you're looking at us who don't have your responsibilities, don't be under pressure. Look within you, look at yourself and say, hey, this is what I can juggle in this current moment. Be honest, because I work from like 3 p.m. to like 1 a.m. And you've been having a life where you maybe have dinner with your kids at a specific time, and all of a sudden you want to clock in that as work hours. Like, it's going to affect your life in a certain way, the dynamic of your family. So consider those things. That's what I would say to anybody who's thinking to themselves, I'm looking at this particular remote worker, she looks like she has everything together. No, my dear. Majority of us, or some of us who work remotely and don't have responsibilities, and you see us sharing, we also have a life outside, but we are trying to manage both of them, work and life. So don't feel so much pressure to show up to be like this particular individual who you're seeing on the internet. No, 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 no. Don't be pressurized by that. Think about your schedule, think about your life. How do you fit all of it together so that you can still show up at work, but then also be there for your friends, your family, your other life responsibilities? Basically, that's what I would say about that. I don't want to make this such a long video, but consider yourself and have grace. Have grace. You've lived your life for the last 15, 10 years with a particular rhythm. Now, all of a sudden, you want to make a switch. You want to get into this remote work thing. Then you're thinking, wow, how am I going to do this? Sometimes it may work, sometimes it may not work, but don't bog yourself down struggling to figure it out. No, consider yourself and then start looking for opportunities that will consider your current responsibilities. That's what I'll advise you. So I hope this video has helped someone. If you're a mom, if you're a dad who wants to venture into remote work, can you please comment in the chat? Tell me how you've been juggling everything. What opportunities are you eyeing? But I would advise you, if you're in East Africa, either one's like in Europe, because our time zone difference is kind of close. So yeah, I hope this video has helped someone. Again, feel free to like, subscribe, share with anybody who wants to get into remote work. Share my video with them, share my YouTube channel with them. And if you have any questions, you can always email me at joy@theremotechick.com. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.